Bombshell news, Gooners! Negotiations for Bruno Guimarães have made significant progress, with talks advancing around a fee of more than £75 million. Could this finally bring an end to the transfer saga? Meanwhile, Fabrizio Romano has just dropped a bombshell involving Viktor Gyökeres and Julián Álvarez in a potential transfer scenario. That's right, Gooners! What is Andrea Berta plotting? And finally, could Gabriel Martinelli really be sold to Roma? If you want all the details on these explosive stories as Arsenal's most important transfer week in years reaches its climax, subscribe right now, turn on notifications, and let's get straight into it. Let's jump straight into the first story because TalkSport's Alex Crook and Ben Jacobs, two of the most reliable voices in English football transfer journalism, have just published a report with a headline that every single Gooner has been desperate to read all summer long. Their exact words were these: Arsenal and Newcastle in advanced talks over Bruno Guimarães transfer as progress made on a fee agreement. And then came the specific financial detail that changes everything. Newcastle are now ready to cash in for what Crook and Jacobs described as north of £75 million. The report went further still, stating that Arsenal hope to strike a full club-to-club agreement before the month is out. We are 3.5 days away from August. The timeline could not be more urgent or more specific. Let us put this in the context of everything that has happened in this saga. Arsenal tabled £55 million verbally, rejected, £65 million through intermediaries, rejected. Newcastle publicly briefed every journalist available that their captain was not for sale at any price. The price was always going to come down eventually, because it always does when a player has made his desire to leave abundantly clear, while a club with no financial pressure simultaneously watches their options narrow. And Newcastle's options have narrowed dramatically. Chelsea are not in the race. Manchester United are looking elsewhere. There is only one serious buyer in this market, and that is Arsenal. The personal terms picture has been the most settled element of this entire pursuit for weeks. Guimarães agreed broad terms with Arsenal before any official bid was even submitted, a level of personal commitment to making this move happen that speaks to exactly how serious his desire is to join the Premier League champions. He has told Newcastle he wants to leave. He has handled it respectfully without strikes or training ground confrontations because of the genuine affection he has for the club and its supporters. But the destination is clear in his mind. There is one note of caution that must be mentioned honestly. Lee Ryder of the Chronicle, a journalist with strong Newcastle sources, pushed back on the advanced talks characterization, posting on X that there has been no formal bid and that suggestions of progress being described as not true right now. That conflict between sources is worth acknowledging. Two of the most reliable journalists in English football saying one thing, a respected Newcastle correspondent saying another. In situations like this, the truth usually lies somewhere between both positions. Progress has been made informally, but formal club-to-club contact may not yet have reached the level Crook and Jacobs described. What matters is this: north of £75 million is now the reported threshold. Arsenal have publicly indicated their maximum is around £77 to £80 million. The gap between those two numbers is minimal. Before the month is out is the stated target. The Community Shield is on August the 16th. Everything is pointing toward this deal happening in the next few days. Make it official, Berta. Write the number on a piece of paper and send it to St James's Park. So Gooners, with Crook and Jacobs reporting north of £75 million and a deal before the month is out, are you finally confident this Guimarães saga ends with him in an Arsenal shirt? Drop your prediction in the comments right now. Now let's talk about Julián Álvarez, because Fabrizio Romano has just gone on his YouTube channel and delivered an update that both clarifies and complicates one of the most exciting potential signings of Arsenal's entire summer. And every Gooner needs to understand exactly what he said and what he did not say. The story that prompted Romano's response involves Spanish outlet AS claiming Arsenal were fully prepared to offer £85 million plus Viktor Gyökeres in a package deal to unlock Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. It was a bold and provocative claim, one that would have solved multiple problems simultaneously. Atletico get a ready-made Premier League proven striker. Arsenal get the Argentine they have been pursuing all summer. Gyökeres gets a fresh challenge in La Liga. Everyone wins, apparently. Romano shut it down with characteristic precision. As of today, end of July, there is nothing on track for Viktor Gyökeres to go to Atletico Madrid and to be included into any Julián Álvarez deal. For sure, Arsenal are attentive to the situation of Julián Álvarez, in case he doesn't go to Barcelona, in case Atletico decide to open doors. But at the moment, still nothing advanced or concrete. And also important to say, on the Gyökeres file at the moment, I'm not aware of concrete or real negotiations for Viktor Gyökeres to go to Atletico Madrid. So at the moment, he's a very quiet file. Now let us be absolutely clear about what Romano is and is not saying here. He is not saying Arsenal have abandoned the Alvarez pursuit. He confirmed explicitly that Arsenal are attentive to the situation, watching, waiting and positioning themselves. What he is ruling out is the specific Gyökeres make-weight structure that AS reported, and that aligns perfectly with what Graham Bailey, Arsenal's closest insider, has consistently reported throughout this summer. Atletico have made inquiries about Gyökeres, but Arsenal have no intention of selling him or using him as a bargaining chip. The preferred route is offloading Gabriel Martinelli or Gabriel Jesus instead, keeping both Gyökeres and Alvarez available to Arteta simultaneously. The Barcelona dimension remains the key variable in this entire pursuit. Atletico have rejected Barta's official €100 million bid. They are dead set against selling to a domestic rival. Every day that passes without a breakthrough between Barcelona and Atletico is a day Arsenal's path to Alvarez becomes clearer. The Argentine's dream is Barcelona, but dreams and reality have a habit of diverging when the obstacles are financial, political, and institutional all at once. Romano's update tells us the Alvarez deal is not happening tomorrow. It does not tell us it is not happening this summer. Stay patient, Berta. Stay close. Be ready the moment the Barcelona door closes permanently. So Gooners, with Romano confirming no Gyökeres swap deal but Arsenal still attentive to Alvarez, how confident are you that the Argentine eventually chooses the Emirates over waiting for Barcelona? Drop your honest take in the comments right now. Now let us round things off with the Gabriel Martinelli situation, because Il Messaggero via Giallorossi have just revealed a significant stumbling block in Roma's pursuit of the Brazilian that has nothing to do with the transfer fee, and everything to do with a wage structure that is threatening to derail what seemed like the most straightforward exit in Arsenal's summer. The numbers tell the full story of the problem. Roma were eyeing a move worth approximately €45 million for Martinelli, a fee that was not exactly Arsenal's ideal valuation, but represented a starting point for negotiation. The issue is not the fee. The issue is Martinelli's wages. The Brazilian earns around €7 million net per season at Arsenal, roughly £120,000 a week. Roma's reported salary cap for new signings sits at approximately €4.5 million net per year. That is a gap of €2.5 million annually, a gap that Roma are simply unable to bridge without fundamentally compromising their wage structure in a way that creates problems throughout the entire dressing room. The parallel that Arsenal can point to in any future negotiation is Crescencio Somerville's recent sale. West Ham received £60 million from Al Hilal for the Dutch winger, a figure that establishes a clear market precedent for attacking wide players at Martinelli's level of experience and Premier League pedigree. Arsenal's record sale remains Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who left for Liverpool back in 2017. The club has been remarkably poor at maximising outgoing transfer fees historically, and this summer is the opportunity to finally change that record. Martinelli at £60 million would be transformative for the budget and would shatter that embarrassing benchmark. But here is the honest reality that complicates everything. Martinelli is not pushing to leave. He is happy at Arsenal, comfortable in North London, and will only seriously consider a move if the package offered genuinely makes sense for him personally. His contract runs until next summer, with Arsenal holding an extension option for one further year, which means the club have genuine protection against losing him for nothing. There is no urgency forcing a sale at a low price, but there is also no obvious buyer emerging who can match both Arsenal's valuation and Martinelli's wage demands simultaneously. A Saudi Pro League club remains the most realistic pathway to a clean exit. The wages in that market operate on an entirely different scale to European football, and the transfer fees being generated there are substantial enough to satisfy Arsenal's demands. West Ham's Somerville deal to Al Hilal proves the Saudi market is operating at the level Arsenal need right now. Until that kind of offer materialises, Martinelli stays, not unhappily, not as a problem, but as an increasingly expensive squad option in a front line that is being rebuilt around higher ceiling alternatives. The wage problem is Roma's. Arsenal's problem is finding the right buyer willing to match the right number. So Gooners, with Roma's wage structure making a deal almost impossible, do you think Arsenal should wait for a Saudi club to come in with the right package for Martinelli? Or should they accept a lower fee from a European club just to free up the wages? Drop everything in the comments right now. I want every single honest opinion. All right, Gooners, and smash that subscribe button right now if you haven't already. This is the most important transfer week Arsenal have had in years, and you absolutely cannot afford to miss a single update. Hit that button immediately, completely free, and every breaking story lands straight with you the moment it happens. And I need to know right now, where in the world are you watching from? Drop your city and your country in the comments immediately. Every single week, I sit here reading through every location and the global scale of this Arsenal family across every continent on Earth. Genuinely never stops being the most extraordinary thing about building this community with all of you. Until next time, Gooners, come on you Gunners.